Alright, good afternoon everyone. This is John from the tomato patch area. This is our 2025 spring early summer tomato patch. Thursdays and Sundays is full-on tomato day. I fertilize, spray BT, spray blossom end rot, and also do a full fungus treatment and a treatment of calcium and magnesium. Now this area here is all of our big slicing tomatoes. And as you can see, each plant is between 4 and 6 feet tall and just completely loaded with tomatoes and flowers right now. Every single tomato we have growing except 10 that I just started to see if we can keep them going through the summer with the heat are not in flower or have any fruits yet. Hope you all are enjoying the beautiful weather. Now the one thing I really want to stress with growing tomatoes is you really got to give them space. I like to plant mine between 3 and 4 feet apart because the more air you can get around them, the better, and the less issues you'll have with fungus and also early blight and also all kinds of other diseases, because the nightshade family of plants is what the tomatoes are in. They need lots of room. Now we're going to enter these are all different types of cherry tomatoes along this wall here. Each container has a different type of cherry tomato. And over here in this pot, this is a Millionaire tomato in that one. And all of these were started from seed in my water gardens in my garage on January 1st of this year. And when I took them out, I planted the sponge and everything right in the ground, and they are absolutely beautiful. Now we're getting into the medium-sized tomato area, the Roma tomatoes, and the oddball long ones like the Jersey Devil, the banana legs, and stuff like that. Now before I go behind my wife's office area, I got 4 other ones in these containers here. And as you can see, look at the size of this old German tomato plant. I mean, this thing is just going to town, and it's only April. I can only imagine what this is going to look like around June. And now we're entering, like I said, more of the oddball size one, like the Green Tiger, Blush Tiger, all of them little oval shaped ones. Alright, I'm going to let you look at this for a little bit. On the left side is more Roma style tomatoes, long oblong side ones, and on the right is all little cherry tomatoes. And these are all in nursery pots with a blend of Command soil and STA green soil in the yellow bags from Lowe's, with about maybe 5 inches of sand in the bottom of them for drainage. And what you put into your tomato patch is what you're going to get out of it too. Just don't think you're going to be able to plant tomatoes, water them once, and do a little bit of this and do a little bit of that, and everything's going to be okay. I know all of you have lived in Florida your whole life, but I'm not here 2 years yet, and people are already messaging me on what's my secret and how are you growing tomatoes this big in the state of Florida. We've been trying to do it, this, that, and the other thing. So I did a lot of research, and you really got to put your time into your tomato patch. Now over here in our North Garden area, this is 2 midnight snack tomatoes I got for free. One store was going to throw them out, and I said, oh, no, 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 no. And now look, they're almost 5 feet tall and just loaded with tomatoes. There's probably 75 or 100 tomatoes just on these 2 plants here. And now we're in our North Garden area. The main tomato patch is in the South Garden because that gets the most sun. And here's just a few more ones that I found around the garden. These are volunteers. I don't know what they are, but why waste a tomato? Alright, this is an Abraham Brown tomato. Here, I can't dig in the ground along this fence line because we have irrigation lines and electric lines, so I try to grow in containers. Actually, all my tomatoes are in containers. None are in the ground because of the poor soil conditions in Florida, as you guys well know of. And now we're coming around to the front. Now this little next tomato patch we're going to come up to, I call this the squeeze project. Now the reason why I say that is because my wife and I loved these tomatoes from the grocery store, and I was hoping they weren't a hybrid because a hybrid tomato, the seeds won't germinate. And lo and behold, every single one germinated and is doing absolutely beautiful. Some of them are 4 or 5 feet high. I had to build this whole trellis system the other day, and there's probably easy 300 tomatoes just right here. Each plant is just absolutely beautiful. And like I said, we're calling this our squeeze project. And this is my potting area where I do all my stuff. And then in these 3 big containers out here in the front, I have Inca Jules container tomato. This one is Tasmanian chocolate, and that one's Prairie Fire. And now we're coming into the front garden area. I had room here in one of my wildflower beds for 2 pots. So there's another volunteer tomato that I found growing around the garden. Here's another one I found growing around the garden. Unknown what they are yet. But why waste a good tomato? Just dig it up and plant it in a pot and put it somewhere. Alright, now we're entering the South Garden again in the main tomato patch. So, and I just got one other thing to show you, and then I'll do the wrap up, and then I'll post this in both groups. But like I said, anybody have any questions, don't hesitate to message me on Facebook, or if you guys want to actually come up, I'd love to send you my address and talk to you and whatever. But everything's doing really good. And these are all the rest of the volunteer tomatoes I put in this half barrel planter. And then I got one more area. This is 2 little patio tomatoes. This is banana legs and Russian purple. And one last tomato to show you, and then that's it. But like I said, what you put into your tomato patch is what you're going to get out. Now this is our dwarf patio tomato, and we probably picked over 20 tomatoes off it already, and there's a couple more to pick. But what I do with my tomatoes each week, each plant is getting around maybe 5 to 8 gallons of water a day now because they're producing fruit. The morning watering I try to do 5 gallons. The afternoon watering I try to do 3 gallons. I fertilize heavily on Thursdays and Sundays. My fungus treatments are as needed. Really not that bad yet because of the humidity levels aren't up there yet, but I did do a first full fungus treatment this morning. I also spray BT every Thursday. I also spray Blossom End Rot every Thursday, and I also do a calcium magnesium treatment every Sunday. Other than that, I just go through daily. I'm fully retired, so I have the time, but I'm constantly looking for parasites, bugs, and insects. So far, knock on wood, no army worms yet. I did find one caterpillar, but it was a beneficial moth that does a lot of pollination at night, so I'm not going to worry about picking that one off. But other than that, everything's growing good, and like I said, it's only April. Can't wait to see what May and June brings before the real heat and humidity set in. But I'm going to let them go as long as I can. You know, everybody says, oh, pull your plants in July and August. Last year I did that, and it was, I regret it, because it really wasn't that hot until maybe after the 4th of July weekend, and I could have had a lot more tomatoes. So I'm going to let this run its course. I'm going to start my seeds probably Memorial Day weekend for the fall tomato patch. Other than that, like I said, if anybody wants to come up for a visit, just message me and I'll give you the address, and love to talk to you guys. All right, bye-bye.